welcome back to the chats and the interviews of the European List of Voice in collaboration with the EAAP, the European Federation of Animal Sciences. Today we are going in France because we are joined by Professor Philippe Chemineau. Bonjour, professeur. Comment allez-vous?
Très bien. Good morning. Very well.
Yeah, sorry, my French is a bit rusty, but I try my best. And thank you for joining us, really. So you are a specialist in reproduction, in particular, as far as I understood, and member of the French Academy of Agriculture. You've been the president of the EAP itself, but please, I let you introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. Initially, I am an agronomist. In France, agronomists are dealing also with animal production. And I have all my career in INRA, National Institute of Agricultural Research, now INRA-A, where I have been for many years now, since more than close to 48 years. And I am now a research director emeritus of INRA-A. That means that I am retired, but I continue to work on the animal production. I have passed many positions, as you may imagine, during these years in NRA, from a research unit director to a member of the management board of the National Management Board of NRA, dealing with scientific expertise and foresight, with European cooperation and regional policy. So this is a quite large CV.
Yes, I mean, it would take the first 15 minutes only to make a list of your experience. I mean, over 40 years, it's quite something. So my compliments. But among the topics you're dealing with is the biology of reproduction, right? And
yes.
What it is about?
Yes, this was my initial topic, and this is a crucial topic for animal production because. First of all, it is the way by which we can use the genetic improvement of herds and flocks using mainly artificial insemination, but also other biotechnological techniques, tools for genetic improvement. And it is very clear that all the progress done in the past in genetic improvement have been done because we are able to detect and to diffuse after detection the best size or the best males in herds. But this is also a key for meat and milk production because there is no meat without producing youngs and no milk without parturition. So this is the reason why we work so hardly on the biology of reproduction at the moment, and why I have worked since many years on that, essentially in sheep and goats for me.
And when we were talking before recording this chat, you were telling me that you also collaborate with archaeologists and paleontologists, which is something. I mean, it doesn't sound so automatic to connect animal sciences and these other disciplines. So how are you collaborating with this kind of experts?
Yes, the collaboration is quite recent, even though I am interested. I was interested since many years with history, but the idea came from a group of people, scientists from CNRS, which is a main scientific organization in France, working on what they call out-of-season breeding in the Neolithic period, that is about 5,000 years ago. And the idea was to know if at that time farmers were organizing a specific out-of-season breeding in sheep, essentially, sheep and goat, but essentially sheep. And if these people were doing that deliberately, that is separating males and females, and after joining them in spring to have autumn lambing or not. And this was interesting because it's not very evident to try to decipher what happened 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
So we try to do some experiments on that based on what they are dealing with in the CNRS, that is ratio of oxygen isotopes in tooth enamel in the rest of archaeological rest to predict what was the season of birth at that time. And also we do that in modern herds and flocks to detect that.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, 5,000 years ago, they were already doing these things on purpose, basically.
Probably, yes. Our conclusion was they were doing that in purpose because, and especially in the Mediterranean basin, because in the Mediterranean basin, rains are coming in autumn, which are favorable for milk production and survival of lambs, of youngs. So probably they were doing that deliberately. So it's an interesting view. Of course, we cannot interview farmers of the Neolithic, but
not really, but I think we can. I mean, we can learn from history because it's something that's a broader topic, if you ask me. But the fact that we kind of don't study history in Europe, at least, and that's having strong effects on our societies nowadays, and it's valid also. It's valid also in this case. I mean, it's
absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting to realize that the progress done in livestock systems is not a modern idea. The Neolithic revolution is essentially that. That is new techniques for raising herds and flocks and new conditions. This is known in milk production, for example, since some years now. There was very nice scientific publications on that.
amazing.
The progress is not recent. And our society is based on that. So it's interesting in the period when we discuss a lot on livestock systems and their sustainability and so on. So the lessons of the past. Lessons of the past are
fascinating, I would say. I mean, it's I would have never thought of this connection. As I said, it's cool. And speaking of our societies, you have also some interesting findings I've seen on melatonin, which is very famous in our sleep-deprived societies nowadays, and the action of light on sheep and goats, right? Can you tell us something more about that?
Yes, because the essential characteristic of sheep and goat reproduction, at least in temperate areas, is the fact that they are seasonal. There are some periods, some months in the year, essentially spring and summer, where animals are unable to reproduce. That is, females are stopping cycling, males are decreasing their libido, and if we don't do anything, farmers have a very long period when their animals don't produce anything. And this is coming from the changes in the light duration and light duration per day. So also duration of the night. And we realized quite recently, but it was maybe 25 years ago, that melatonin, which is a small molecule secreted by the pineal gland, which was supposed in the Middle Age to be the seat of the soul in humans, that this duration of melatonin secretion at night controls the seasonality of reproduction in sheep and goats. So at the same time, in my lab, we try to decipher where melatonin acts in the brain. There is some still controversy, but we advance a lot. And we also develop some techniques using melatonin, which is a very safe molecule, to change, to displace seasonal reproduction. And melatonin is used in sheep and goats since maybe 25 years, whereas it is used in humans for sleep since only maybe less than 10 years. So we were a little bit in advance on that.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, it's a recent trend, I would say. I use sometimes some bonbon with melatonin when I'm traveling. But I have some jet lags, it's helping. But I never heard about that in my childhood, for instance. And it's fascinating to see that livestock sciences came before with this. So it's but is it only about reproduction, productivity, or also somehow about animal welfare?
Well, effectively, we don't use melatonin for animal welfare, but we
Yeah,
can,
no,
we
no,
can
I
use
don't
it.
mean that you let sleep,
Yes, but
the animal
we have
sleep, but I mean, is there
we have
anything involved about animal welfare?
some groups, and especially in the location where I am working at the moment, some people also show that melatonin acts on behavior of animal behavior.
Okay.
It is, but it is not used at the moment because well, it's not the same area as reproduction.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it is only used for reproduction.
Okay. And back to your main activity, so reproduction. How can these efforts, these studies, researchers on livestock reproduction help develop sustainable techniques?
Well, at the moment, since many years, at the moment in Europe and in France, but in Europe, farmers use for sheep and goat reproduction what we call hormonal synchronization techniques, which use analogs of progesterone, which is a very well-known hormone in humans also, and an hormone extracted from a pregnant mare serum to synchronize these animals. And at the moment, there is close to 2 million of sheep and goats used in Europe. We don't know exactly the number, but more or less. And this is an external synthetic hormone used. So we try to replace that at the moment by other alternatives which are more sustainable. We know that we can replace the injection of a pregnant mare serum gonadotrophin by introduction of a ram or a buck to synchronize females during the rest season. And I'm working at the moment on trying to replace the synthetic progesterone, which is coming from the industry, by natural progesterone. And I'm working on a walnut tree, trying to identify progesterone and to use it for synchronizing females, sheep and goats. But the work is in progress at the moment, and we just published this year the first results. But we have not succeeded yet. I hope that we will, but
It
it's
takes
not
time.
completely finished.
But
And
it has nothing to do with the growth of animals because the people, as soon as people hear hormones,
no, no,
so
it's not,
you want to
absolutely
clarify
not.
this?
Absolutely not. And progesterone is very nice hormone. It is the hormone of pregnancy, so it is not a problem. And we also try to use light schedules that give extra light to animals in farms or in artificial insemination center for producing semen from males to control seasonality, and it works. At the moment in France, as far as I know, there is close to 50% of flocks, of goat flocks, which use light treatments, extra light treatments, to control out of season and to have fertilization out of season during the rest season. And this is only extra light. Animals are perceiving natural light. We give only 2-3 months of light during winter, and they induce a small sexual activity during spring and summer.
So, okay, it's really a broad topic. Honestly, I didn't. I'm not an expert. I'm just interviewing and related to experts, but I'm not for sure myself. But since a while, I'm dealing with these topics, and it's the first time I realize, thanks to you, how important are these, because I never really cared of or thought of reproduction and so on. Of course, I could imagine by instinct it's very important, but I would never have imagined that there is so much behind. So thank you very much because you opened a new world
Thank
for
you.
me, and I
Thank
hope
you.
for the people watching and
Thank you.
listening. And well, with your CV again, you have a lot to talk about. So I'm pretty sure. And if you like, I would like to get in touch again because you have
Okay.
really a lot to say and to show.
No problem. I am always available for giving explanation. It's a passion, as you saw.
Yeah, I can see. So merci beaucoup, au
Je vous en prie.
revoir, and take care. And
Au revoir.
thanks again.
Bye bye.